mathematics. So we have three questions here. So it's a combination of different topics in trigonometry. Okay, number one, verify. So our purpose really, our intended learning outcome is to familiarize, okay, various types of problems, equations, no, or whatever in trigonometry. Okay, after this, next week we'll be able to tackle probability and statistics. Okay, so we need to fight until Saturday. No, Saturday. Yes, Saturday. Okay, because Friday and Saturday are day off here. Okay, in the Middle East. So our first coverage discussion will be in Sunday. Okay, which is also holiday in the Philippines, right? So we have here number one, number two, number three. So verify secant x minus cosine x is equal to tangent x and sine x. So if we say verify and also prove, so it would mean the same thing. Verify or prove. So what it means, you're gonna involve the lesson or the concept of trigonometric identities. Okay, and also the trigonometric function. So verify or prove secant x cosine x is equals to tangent x sine x. Okay, things like that. So as we can remember, since our first objective here is to convert these stuffs into sines and cosines, and then we're gonna ensure that our left side will be equal to the right side. You don't need to change the right side, okay? But there are cases also, but most of the times you don't need to, change the right side. You need to equal the left side to the right side because of the sign of equality. Okay? Okay. So secant x. So what is the definition of secant x? Secant x is the reciprocal identity of cosine x, no? That is 1 over cosine x. And then this is the first term, secant x. The second term is cosine x, so you don't have to worry because it's already cosine. Okay, then do not touch the right side. So we're gonna substitute this to here right now. So 1 over cosine x minus cosine x is equals to tangent x sine x. Okay. Okay. So if you are fan of evaluating the expression to the simplest term or to the lowest term by dividing to a certain expressions or whatever, or by multiplying to a certain expressions, let's say both sides, then you can have it also if you build mastery on that. Okay, but if you will refer to the basic foundation of adding and subtracting fraction, then you can do also by getting the greatest common factor of the expressions or the equations or whatever, no? Because as you can see here, okay, this is 1 over cosine x. This is fractional form in terms of a trigonometric function. And this cosine x is understood to be over 1. So we still also apply the two methods. The first, we have performing the indicated operation by using GCF, the denominator. Okay, number two, we need to use the, what do you call this one? Butterfly method, right? Butterfly method. Who loves butterfly method? Okay, get the point on. And for me, the least method I will be able to use, multiply or divide both sides as something so that it will be reduced and simplified. But I don't like that one because I am not building mastery to that, okay? Things that, so we have here 1 minus cosine x minus 1 over cosine x. So we need to get the GCF between cosine x and 1. So cosine x times 1 is simply cosine x. Because that is the procedure. You're going to multiply each denominator, to something, especially if the denominators are not the same. For example, the other one is a variable, the other one is a number. Here is a trigonometric function and a number one, right? So 1 times cosine x, cosine x. Therefore, cosine x divide cosine x, 1. 1 times 1 is 1. Cosine x divided by 1, cosine x times cosine x, that is cosine squared x. Okay, I need to explain this. When you say cosine squared x, this is actually the cosine, okay, x raised to the power 2. Okay? Get the point in this case. That's why it will become cosine squared x. Okay? So it's cosine squared x. It's not cosine x squared, huh? That is cosine x squared. No, because you are not squaring the variable x. Instead, you are squaring the entire trigonometric function that involves x, the cosine and the x. That's why it's not cosine x squared. Okay, it is cosine squared x. No, the exponent will be after the letter s. No, you're gonna treat that as an exponent of the letter s. See, the exponent of the letter s, or the superscript of the letter s. Because in this case we have cosine, but if you have also tangent, tan, so the superscript of the letter n, exponent of letter x. So it depends on the trigonometric function we're using, but in here we're using cosine, so it's the superscript or the exponent of s. Okay, when we mean cosine x times cosine x, or when we mean a certain trigonometric function with variable multiplied by itself. Okay, things like that. So equals to tangent x sine x. Okay, the second step here, if you know already that your terms in the left are already expressed in sines and cosines, so therefore you're gonna look into certain basic Pythagora trigonometric identities, no, so that it can be simplified further, and we're gonna remember that those also. So that's why we're gonna memorize the entire trigonometric identities to make sure and to be confident, no, in the entire verification and proving of trigonometric identities. Get the point? Okay. So in the mathematics major, you know, things like that. So these trigonometric functions or verifying identities will always be there, you know. Okay. Be careful also. Now we are using the GCF, right? Now number 2, we must use the butterfly method. It will say 1 over cosine x minus cosine x. This cosine x understood to be 1. So 1 times 1 is 1. Cosine x times cosine x is cosine squared x. Cosine x times 1 is cosine x. Take a look. They are just having the same answer, right? Okay. So choose these two alternatives, or choose the harder one, the multiplying of a sudden thing, so that we can eliminate the something in the other side to make it simplified, no? Things like that. Okay, I'm not also, you know, quite familiar to that kind of attack, no? I'm through the basic skill talaga, no? Okay, get the point? Okay, but if you love manipulation, then you can go also. Okay, so now this 1 minus cosine squared x is the first basic Pythagora identity, no? Basic Pythagora identity. So we have sine squared x plus cosine squared x is equals to 1. But take note, Sir Sotero, that is 1 minus cosine squared x. It's not found here. Of course, you're gonna manipulate this thing so that we can obtain an expression like this. How can we do that? Okay, things so that we can have 1 minus cosine squared x. Get the point? Okay, so we're gonna subtract the left side and the right side by a cosine squared x. That we can cancel the second term cosine squared x. So cosine squared x minus cosine squared x is equal to 0. So this is in the left. So what you will do in the right, again, you will subtract also. So the rule in math says, what you do in the left, you also do in the right every time. Okay? So that's why it's going to be sine squared x is equal to 1 minus cosine squared x. Now take note. 1 minus cosine squared x is equal to sine squared x. Substitute the sine squared x here. So sine squared x over cosine x is equal to tangent x sine x. Okay? Get the point? Okay. So you need to change sine squared x cosine x to a something in which you can obtain tangent x in the right. Okay, or you can also translate tangent x to sine x and cosine x just to prove it, and then later on it will come back to tangent x. No, it depends on how you try to do the attack. As long as it is equal to tangent x sine x. No, okay. See, so the definition of tangent x is sine x over cosine x, right? So if you try to split sine squared x, okay, obviously it will become sine x times sine x, right? Okay, as I told you previously. So sine x times sine x, right? And we have still the denominator cosine x. Okay, is equals to tangent x sine x. Now look for the definition of tangent x is equals to sine x cosine x. It's found there. Okay, look. Yes. See, sine x over cosine x. So therefore, this is also tangent x multiplied by sine x. Therefore, tangent x is equal to sine x. Tangent x sine x equals to tangent x sine x. So they are equal. So we already proven our identities, or we are already verified our identities that the left will be equal to the right. Okay? Any questions so far? Okay, so the technique here, you're gonna memorize all the reciprocal identities, quotient identities, and basic Pythagoras identities. Okay, so it is always already in our mind, no? Already. By the time we will verify and we prove the trigonometric identities, you get the point. Okay, things like that. So I need to show a little bit, no, in the benefit of others who are not following my educational vlog in math, especially in trigonometry. So we have, when we say Pythagoras trigonometric identities, the basic Pythagoras identities is carried over in the caption, in the title of this category. Because if we can remember, if we have 90 degrees triangle, or we apply the law of right triangle, we use the Pythagoras theorem, c squared plus c squared is equals to a squared plus b squared. So this is the appearance of Pythagoras theorem. So we are emulating, or we are mimicking or copying the appearance and the form of this by using now trigonometric functions, no? So let's say we will say sine squared theta plus cosine squared theta is equals to 1. So this form will be equivalent to this form, but this form is more on the variables, no? But this one more on the trigonometric function. Okay. So what's that one all about? This is the constant. Get the point? Okay. So that's why we have like this. Okay. Any questions so far? Or if we try to put that also in, this is first time on the spot. I don't prepare, but it comes on my brain. Okay, so if we have here right triangle, because when I look at this now on the spot, I need also to derive where this come from. And I said to myself, maybe I will try to use the right triangle because I don't prepare. Okay, so we have here. So if this is 90 degrees here, and we said sine squared theta, cosine squared theta, right? Things like that. Now, the sine squared theta is talking about the y coordinate. Cosine theta is talking about the x coordinate. You get the point? Because if we can remember the basic concept of unit circle anatomy, okay, we let the radius of a circle equal to 1. So, listen carefully. The moment our radius equal to 1, like this, this is a circle, and then we divide this like this equally, 45 degrees, 45 degrees, 45 degrees, 45 degrees, right? Oh, 90 degrees, 90 degrees, 90 degrees, 90 degrees. We take a half here, okay, and then we let the radius is equal to 1 because that is the concept of a unit circle, okay? So this is already now 1, right? Now this is your 45 degrees and this is your, okay, what? This is your y here. So you will say tangent theta, no? Okay, is the opposite side, which is y, right? Y over the radius. The radius is 1. Okay, di ba? So tangent theta is equals to y. Okay, get the point? So that is the y-axis. Okay, things that, tama ba? Adios muna to. Okay, so let r is equal to 1. Tama ba ko? Because this is on the spot, sorry ha, if I commit mistakes. This is only rough recalling of concepts, okay? So let r is equals to 1 and this is 1. Okay, this is y. Okay, if you have to say tangent, di ba? Tangent, di ba? 45 degrees, di ba? Y over 1. Therefore, tangent of 45 degrees, tama ba? Okay, is tangent. Okay, tangent is SOHCAHTOA. Oh, SOHCAHTOA. So therefore, the SOHCA obtinua, opposite over adjacent. Opposite, this is y. Adjacent is x. Diba? So this is your tangent, y over x. So this is a slope, no? Already, no? Okay, get the point? Oh, when you say y over x, this is a slope. Okay, get the point? Oh. So the y here represent the sine theta and the x represent theta. Why? Because sine theta or sine 45 degrees is equals to opposite side, tama ba? Y. Okay? Over the hypotenuse 1. So therefore, sine of 45 degrees is equals to y. So this is in representation of sine theta is equals to y. So therefore, sine theta is equal to the y coordinate automatically. Get the point? Things like that. Okay? And then, because this is on the spot, sorry. Okay, and then, wait. I found difficulty a little bit. Okay. Okay. If we say cosine of 45 degrees, okay, so meaning to say that is the ka, no? The adjacent over the hypotenuse. So this is x, right? The base or the adjacent. So x over the hypotenuse 1. So therefore, cosine 45 degrees is equals to x. Therefore, cosine theta is equals to x. O, diba? Since we said a while ago, the tangent theta is equals to sine x over cosine x, and the value respectively is y and x. That's why y over x, because y is in sine theta and x is cosine theta. Okay? So therefore, in trigonometry, the y is automatically the sine theta. The x is automatically the, okay, the cosine theta. If we talk about the coordinates, no, in terms of trigonometric functions, if we deal with trigonometry, get the point? So we need to attach the concept of a unit circle anatomy every time. Okay, and the law of special triangles as well. Okay, things like that. So therefore, if this is 90 degrees, right? And then attaching also the principle of special triangle, right? So 90 degrees, that here is 45 degrees, obviously. 45 degrees, okay? So we need to tell, guys. Okay, why is your shotero? Because the sum of all interior angles of a triangle is 180 degrees. Why? Where does it comes from? Actually, guys, it's not magic. Some of the math teachers will not discuss it. Some will discuss it, but I need to do it because in order for us to know. Actually, this 180 degrees is equal to the sum of all the interior angles of the triangle. It's not a magic. Okay? It comes from, okay, the sum of the interior angles of a regular polygon. See? Because some math teachers did not include triangle in a polygon topic. Okay? it must be considered a polygon because there are sides and enclosed together. There are vertices, edges, corners, sides, dimensions, and angles of inclinations. So if that is closed with vertices, okay, or one vertex or three vertices, like the plural singular versus, no, okay, and then we have angles of inclination. So that is also polygon. So some math teachers kasi, in the topic of polygon, they will not discuss triangle. So that's why there's no close association, no, with the basic concept. Okay, now, okay, sum of interior angles of a triangle, SIA, SIA, no, the vocalist of Chandelier, right? SIA. I want to live like a chandelier, like a chandelier. O, diba? That's Sia. The moment we remember Sia, a singer in America, then we can say sum of interior angles, an acronym to remember. You get the point? So this is sum of interior angles of a triangle. The formula is n minus 2 times 180 degrees. How many sides the triangle? 3. 1, 2, 3. Substitute this in this sum of interior angles of a polygon. 3 minus 2 times 180 degrees. 1 times 180 degrees. This is 180 degrees. So therefore, this 180 degrees of our triangles, every time our teachers told us, is coming from the sum of interior angles in polygon concept. Yun ang pinanggagalingan. That's why we have angle A plus angle B plus angle C is equals to 180 degrees. Because this 180 degrees is the total of all interior angles in that triangle by using sum of interior angle formula of a polygon, which is n minus 2 times 180. So alam na this. Right? It's not magic actually, no? It has derivation to prove. Kalas? Okay. That's only minor, but I have to explain. Okay, get the point? Okay. So that's why we have always angle A, angle B, angle C, 180 degrees. The sum of three interior angles of a triangle is always 180 degrees. That 180 degrees comes from the polygon. Okay? Get the point? And it's very clear now. Okay? Okay. That's why I put here 45, 45, 90. So why you automatically put 45? Of course, if that is 90 degrees, so the other angles are automatic 45. Right? Am I correct? Get the point? Things like that. Am I correct? Right? See, for example, if we extend the adjacent, let's prove it, no? Because there's no justice. If I will say 45 degrees and 45 degrees automatically, if you have 180 degrees here, okay, get the point of, see, I extend the adjacent and connect here, right? So this is also 90 degrees, okay? So what will happen to your angle? It will lower or not? The inclination. Okay, get the point of. So as you can see, it will become thinner and thinner, right? If you extend the adjacent. If you extend one of the legs, no, the other two angles will change. This is on the spot, actually, by just looking that triangle. Okay, things like that. So if you try to equal the length of the height and the base, automatically you can have a 45 degrees. That's why I'm interpreted, no? That's why, okay, in a 45 degrees, your base is 1 and the height is 1. So, equal the legs. Okay? So, the moment you equal the values of the legs or the adjacent and the height of a triangle, automatically, the other triangles will be 45 degrees. But the moment this changes one of them, so our inclination of the other two interior angles, no, apart from 90 degrees, it's not 45 degrees. This condition only satisfy if and only if our adjacent is equal to the height. And that is the concept here. You cannot automatically judge pala because of the spot. I thought at first. Okay, this is critical thinking because I thought at first it would be like always. Okay, see? Okay, it will become 45 degrees, 45 degrees. Okay? Gets. So the moment this will become 2, so this is not already 45 degrees here. Huh? It will change. Okay, so that's an explanation. Okay, now going back to our proof, no, why we follow the Pythagoras in this concept, no. Okay, see, this is 90 degrees, right? And you said a while ago in my previous discussion that the adjacent is cosine theta over x. So what represent cosine theta over x? So it's in here, right? Cosine over x, because this is the x coordinate. This is the cosine theta. And then the sine theta is y coordinate. So the sine theta will be here, right? Oh, sine theta. Now this one is still the same, which is the equivalent, which is c in the original equation of the Pythagoras. But you see here, okay, you get the point, this is the hypotenuse. You get the point? Diba? So, hypotenuse. So, if you try to do the Pythagoras, that is h squared is equals to, okay, cosine squared theta plus sine squared theta. Right? See? The same as this. Okay. So, Shotero, why your height is 1? It's not letter. Because as I told you a while ago, in a unit circle, see, the hypotenuse is 1. Okay? So therefore, we will substitute that here. 1 raised to the power 2 is equals to cosine squared theta. Yes, Lord. Actually, guys, on the spot ni siya. Okay, 1 squared is equals to cosine squared theta plus sine squared theta. I proved it just now. Okay? I don't refer any books. Okay, just now. Okay? See? 1. Okay, and this is the hypotenuse, right? If we transfer that here, this is also 1. So therefore, 1 squared is equals to cosine squared plus sine squared. So it will appear to be like this. So that's why we have basic Pythagoras identities, sine squared theta plus cosine squared theta is equals to 1. So the very basic concept for this is that you cannot obtain this if your radius calculation is not equal to 1. Basis of calculation, 1. So therefore, in your unit circle anatomy and in the concept of trigonometric functions, and then you're going to involve unit circle, the basis of calculation there, the radius is equal to 1. Okay? See? When we navigate that here, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. So that we can have this Pythagoras identities and the rest of the stuffs of this particular trigonometric function, such like this also, right? Okay, things like that, and tangent also. Okay, so they are really mutual relationship, no? Because the radius is entirely present in the entire spectrum of a unit circle. Okay, any questions so far? So already how to prove this, huh? If somebody will ask us, then you will explain too much, just like I did. Okay, things like that. Okay, so that is explanation, no? Is a question. Explain why do we have basic Pythagoras identities of sine squared theta plus cosine squared theta is equals to 1 or 50 points. You know how to answer already because I discussed it. So I make it different, right? I make an easy question in which opposite to the normal connotation or the normal insight of a math that they will always think that calculation, problem solving, manipulations of the variables, expressions, equations. I change it to like an easy question that we need to think deeply. Why, Delilah? Okay, things like that. Very clear now, no? Okay, I explain this because this is related to the verifying and proving of trigonometric identities. Any question, class? This is grade 10 actually, right? This topic. Okay, grade 10 in senior high school. But it will also be tackled in college Okay, once you have the basic foundation in your junior and senior high schools, right? Okay, things like that. Now, this said that they're gonna eliminate 2 years again of K to 12 according to Robin Hood, but it's difficult because if you remove this in senior high school, you're gonna study this again in college. The same story because the curriculum will be adjusted again. If you remove grade 11 and grade 12, you will study mathematics in college. You get the point? Okay. So if you study this separately, it will belong or fall to grade 11 and grade 12. Okay. Take a look with the present situation. They reduce now to 4 years the engineering course in the Philippines. I heard, I'm not really that sure. Okay, but they said, because in our time, during from 1960s to 1990s to 2000, the engineering curriculum in the Philippines is 5 years. But I heard they changed it to 4 years because of this K to 12. Now, if this Robin Hood law eliminated the senior and junior high schools, what will happen for engineering course? They will force themselves to add also year in the engineering just to compensate the loss of mathematics and some of the subjects taught in advance in senior high school and in junior high school. Actually, it's just the same. Get the point? Oh, it's just the same, but we go back to zero. Okay? So for me, no need to eliminate. Just upgrade it, modify it. If we're talking about the expenses of the poor, poverty people, then voice out that to the commander-in-chief that our people suffering a lot with the finances and the financial aspect, then we will make senior high school and junior high school free for all the Filipinos. Kalas. Right? You can do a lot of extreme corruption, but you cannot give free tuition to the people for their children. My gosh. How come? You stolen billions and trillions money from the Philippine government. And then you cannot make free the junior and senior high school tuition fees. If this is the only case that you want, you should not eliminate K to 12, but rather this must be the program. Let it be free so that we can help the poor. Because you are not in the stabilization stage of Republic Act 533, which is called K to 12. So why we need to eliminate? It's already there. We will go back to zero. It doesn't make sense. Okay? And another reason also, it doesn't make sense in international qualifications framework in Asia that all educational journey in the entire globe as part of the SD, Sustainable Development in 2030, all schools in the planet Earth shall have a minimum of 16 years study from basic education to college. Do you think Philippines will qualify if you eliminate the 2 years of K to 12 now and go back to the previous? Now, calculate it. Mga bright makata, mga Pilipino, calculate it if you remove 2 years. Okay, it will not reach to 16 years. So we will not fall. We will not follow the international qualifications framework. So we will be left behind in the SD goal or sustainable development in the global village or global competitiveness. I hope we will use our brain. Kalas. My gosh. Tandaan nyo na, you are lawyers, you are journalists, and you still don't know about international laws? My gosh. Okay, so going back here. Okay, so we have here number 2. Okay, take a look at number 2. So I'm so meticulous, right? Very strict and meticulous in terms of fact, right? Okay, so let's erase number 1. Okay, things like that. I told you over and over again, I observed Marcoleta, very humble, don't know how to be strong and try to insult or whatever. See, he can easily be arrested at any time because he don't show strength and bravery.
Because once you are not strong and you are not brave, they can easily turn you down, even though how intelligent you are. Okay? Even though how smart you are. If you are not strong by actions, by words, even though how intelligent you are, totally the same. If you are soft in character, you must be strong. Get the point? Gender doesn't matter here. Okay, get the point? You must be strong in principle. You must really portray that in your actions, your gestures, the way you speak. Sometimes you need to raise your voice if the situation really needs it. If the situation needs you to do that, you have to do that. Okay, get the point? This is a piece of advice to those very good leaders in our country. They will abuse you, especially the Bongbong Marcos administration. If they think you are weak, you are soft-spoken, okay, even though you know the legalities and everything, but if you are not strong, strong as the Iron Lady, the late Senator Miriam Defensor Santiago, then they will abuse you. What happened now? They arrested Marcoleta. But if Marcoleta's character before is very strong, this will not be happening. Because these people in Malacanang is very complacent. That they can do everything because of the character of the person. But if they will see that the character of a person is not easy, they will not do that, of course. You get the point? Okay? If they will do, they will have tactical plans before attacking, before issuing warrant of arrests. But in the character, I already forecast that. See, it happens. It's in my mind. Since I'm not a political analyst, I cannot say that in social media. Okay, I'm not a political analyst, but it's in my mind that I said, this Marcoleta, this will be in danger in the future. See, it's coming now. He was arrested. But if he's very strong, he's now having the legalities and everything like that. So, he made sana certain good luck to these people. No? Kuwang siyang strength and bravery, but he is very intelligent. He is very upright. He is very righteous. He is very good. He's looking for the welfare of the Filipinos, but the only needed is the bravery and strength. You know, we need to follow the character of the late or the former President Rodrigo Duterte. Okay, strong, decisive leader. Get the point? You know what is decisive leader? Firm decision with acumen in every decision that they or that he delivers. You get the point? Oh my gosh. I prayed before I will do my lecturing, I will pray that Lord God guide me, because if I will talk on politics, I can't stop my mouth. Okay, things that become emotional if the topics is politics. Okay, get the point also. Number 2, calculate the half angle. Let's say my topic also is educational because it's safe. It's safe. I can control my pressure. Okay, I can control my blood pressure because the moment I keep on thinking and talking about politics, like that, no? Okay, things like that. I cannot control my emotions, my public sentiments, no? Things like that. So going back here, so sad, right? So sad. All allies of the Dutertes, they slowly and gradually make in trouble. If that is not their alignment or not in the same page with them, they will try to do something. Okay? Just to weaken this DDS foundation's based supporters or support. Things like that. Because they believe that they try to remove this, like, because they have also an idea that Marcoleta will run as a vice president with Sara Duterte. You know, guys, their plan is very obvious and evident. No? Actually, they try to entrable Marcoleta because according to them, there's an issue or there's a news that this Marcoleta will run in 2038 as a vice president of Sara Duterte. Of course, you will try also to eliminate Marcoleta. Alam na this. Look at their galawan. It's same pattern. Get the point? Right? Things like that. Okay. Lisa Aranita Marcos and Ferdinand Marcos Jr., you are not forever in the Malacanang Palace. Trust me. Okay? Someday, the earthworm will eat your flesh. Okay? So don't be complacent enough that you put the Philippines in your hands. If you're listening to me now, okay, much better. Get the point? My gosh, nakakabweset kayo. Get the point? Okay, number 2. We have here, calculate the half angle and double angle identities. Nawalan ako sa bracket, no? I'm very emotional. Things like that. Okay, so identities. Okay, things like that. When I saw the news, really, oh my gosh, my cortisol hormone is rising. Okay, all the, hormone stress related, hormone stresses, the cortisol, the vasopressin, and everything. You get the point? You get the point. The adrenaline hormone, to sight, and increases my blood pressure just because of this news. Get the point? The morning, I was really affected, no? Really, okay, get the point? I need to voice out this. If others cannot voice out, then I will voice out for them, right? I will represent my voice from others who are not voicing themselves, because we are having feelings inside our hearts, the same, totally the same, but they cannot speak, okay? Because they want also not to be in trouble. They don't want also to be complicated, things like that, and they will be endangered with their security and privacy in social media. Okay, they will be cut off from doing FB Reels, the social media reelings and live streaming, because they monitor the community guidelines. It's also under by FB Philippines, TikTok Philippines, YouTube Philippines. So they are collaborating with each other. That's why that's I noticed when I try to have a strong comments, against the government, I wonder why I cannot comment anymore. So that's an evidence that they are really linked with the government. Okay? Facebook Philippines. Okay? Shout out. Okay? Get the point? So they will filter good comments only. Okay, get the point? And then they will be closely associated with this Bangag administration. Okay, the point? Okay, things like that. Okay, don't intimidate us, because our lives here on earth is not forever. If you are listening, Liza Aranita Marcos, and Ferdinand Marcos Jr., your lives will not be forever. Okay, just like us. So do not underestimate the lives of the Filipino people. That you put the Philippines in your hands. Get the point? Things like that. This must not be happening. Get the point? Okay. I'm very frank in my social media. I don't care. Okay? As long as I'm standing for truth. Okay? I'm expressing my sentiments as a sovereign Filipino people of the archipelago of the Philippines. So calculate the half angle and double angle identities. Nakaka-high blood. Nasira yung mode ko. Hay nako. Okay, things like that. Okay. Going back to this, calculate the half angle and double angle identities. You get the point? That's why I advise you, younger generations, devote yourselves to study a lot, because this can save our future. Be smart enough. We don't really want to rely to the government benefits, because once they failed, our future also will fail. Do not entrust your families of ayuda, everything. You get the point, no? Go to school, pay attention to your teachers, and acquire knowledge with the best of your abilities and knowledge, so that in the future, you can be financially literate and financially stable, and you can reach your dream, with your families and your loved ones. And we don't depend with this bullshit government now or in the future. Okay, this is for sure. It will never change unless we're gonna change our system. We're gonna change our Philippine Constitution in favor to the welfare of the Filipinos. Okay, things like that. Because the People's Initiative is not functioning. It's under Bongbong Marcos. Actually, we have the initiative sector in our 1987 Philippine Constitution. But what's happening now, the People's Initiative to check and balance the legislature, the upper Congress, and the lower Congress, and the judiciary. Okay, these three forms of branches, three branches of government. Okay, this people's initiative, they are given a separate, power, but they don't use it because they are also used by Bongbong Marcos to scotch tape their mouth. And it's been a long time they are not functioning. Because if they are really functioning, we already amend our constitution in favor to the public welfare, to the Filipinos. Because you are also planning to change the constitution in favor to your personal gains and personal interests so that your purse and your wallets will be bulging, okay? And so that you can really compile or stack your wealth and power and influence. Of course, nobody wants that constitution to be changed because your purpose is not in the right direction. But if your purpose is in the right direction to change our 97 constitution, then that's fine because that is not already appropriate in our present situation. We are now in a digital world. You get the point? And the context in 1987 Philippine constitution, it's not, meeting the present cyberspace age, computer age, new technology age, the digitized world, like that. It's not discussing about these things because that's happened in 1987. So normally in the hearing, it will change like that. So what will happen? Most of the times, opinionated debates based on logical reasoning. It's no longer based on the pure context, black and white, in the 1997 Constitution, because some of the provisions in the 1997 Constitution did not align in our world of today. 1980s, it took 20 years backward in 2026. 2026 minus 1986. Okay, how many years? But you keep on changing your phones. You keep changing your models of gadgets into something new. You keep changing your lifestyles. You keep improving the quality of your life. You keep improving your wealth. You keep improving your car, different models every year. You keep improving your assets. Okay, you keep improving the profit and the revenues of your businesses, but you don't even upgrade and enhance the Constitution. Now tell me, this is not fair. Mga bright mata mo. Na may bright ingon ni Ana, ito ta point no, you're not looking for the welfare of the majority, for the common good. Okay? Bullshit. Things like that. Okay. Wala ako sa anong high blood. Okay, going back here. So calculate the half angle and double angle identities. Okay, so if we have here, okay, so I lost my condition and desire to teach this because of politics. As I told you, okay, the moment I will speak on politics, I become really, assertive. Okay, so here, 5, this is the hypotenuse. Okay, let's go back to the real world of knowledge building. Because whatever happens, until I die, I will never stop empowering knowledge to the humanity. Okay, 3, we have here adjacent. Get the point, things like that. This is my long-term goal while I'm still alive. Until my last breath. Okay. Things like that. Okay, so we have here adjacent 3 and then 5. So we don't have the opposite of this angle is the opposite side. Opposite side or the height or the altitude. Okay. Okay. Get the point? So if you try to study social studies, if you try to have an analogous explanation, so if we have an altitude, we have also the latitude, right? If we consider the globe, right? So the latitude would represent the adjacent representation or the base representation or the horizontal representation. And the latitude, longitude is the altitude. Longitude, altitude, height, opposite. Okay, things like that. Horizontal, okay, we have the adjacent, okay, get the point, the latitude, the base, the horizontal, like that. So many synonyms, no, at least,
Okay, get the point? That gives us an idea. Okay. But in the globe, it's somewhere like a little bit of curve, like the prime meridian, the equator, like that, no? They're also in vertical position, but there's a sort of a little of a curvature. Very slight only, no? Get the point? Like this. Right? Okay, but generally, they are projecting the vertical position, no? Not by literal explanation. You got the point. Okay, things like that. Okay, now calculate half angle and double entity. What are the half angles? Okay, sine half first, no? So theta over 2. So theta over 2 because that is 1/2 times theta is equal to theta over 2. Very minor, but I still have to discuss. Because theta times 1 is theta. 2 times 1 is 2. That's why theta over 2. Okay? Spoon feeding, right? But I love it. Okay, so we have here. Okay, sine 2 theta, 1/2 theta. So what is the trigonometric identity for this? Okay, this is the positive and negative square root of 1 minus cosine theta over 2. Okay, things like that. And then for cosine theta over 2, you need to put parentheses. Because me, I will put parentheses to make it short. Okay, get the point. Plus minus the opposite of this one. So 1 plus cosine theta. Okay, over 2. Therefore, tangent theta over 2, by definition, that is what? Is sine theta over cosine theta. So you're gonna divide this 1 to this. So the result will be the square root of 1 minus cosine theta plus 1 plus cosine theta. Then what happened to your sine? Okay, again, some teachers will not discuss what happened to the sine. They will only discuss this division thing inside the radical. As a math teacher, you need to explain also what will happen to your sines because it's very evident. Plus and minus the square root of a something. Plus and minus the square root of a something. This something is called radical because this is inside the radical. Okay? Now, we are focusing with the radical, but we are not focusing to the sign conventions. Now, here is the key. If you divide positive minus divided by positive minus, this whole thing will cancel. That's why this tangent theta over 2, you cannot see the sign convention outside the root. That's the reason. Because you also divide the signs. It's not only the radical. Because in math, what you do in the left, you do in the right. What you do in the numerator, you also do in the denominator. But in this case, you don't follow anymore the procedure. Now tell me, math teachers. So there's no consistency, right? If you do the same thing inside the radical, you also do the same thing outside the radical, and it happens outside the radical are the sign conventions. Plus and minus, plus and minus. So therefore, you divide that also. Plus and minus divided by plus and minus, cancel, plus, minus, minus. Oh, there's no sign conventions anymore. So that's why in our tangent half angle identity, we don't have sign convention in our formula. That's the reason. I just only feeling the gap, no, of some math teachers that will not explain and expound very well. Okay, things like that. Okay. Get the point. This is it, right? Okay, now we go to sine 2 theta because I said double angle, half angle. This is in linguistic approach of representation. This is symbolic approach of representation. Okay, linguistic language, symbolic can be objects, pictograms, or any symbolic non-living thing. I'm just joking. Tables, graphs, and everything. Get the point? As long as it's not related to language, sentences, paragraphs, and blah, 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 so and so. Okay, we have sine theta is equals to 2 cosine theta. Okay? 2 sine theta. Advance kay kung break sales mo. Jump. 2 sine theta cosine theta. Okay? Now, cosine theta. Okay, here is the thing. When I was in high school, you get the point, no?
Okay, so for example, if there are trigonometric identities, some of my classmates will just only select because they said it has the same meaning. Me, I just kept on silent on that because I found it, no, it's not. Because I told myself, I don't argue with my classmates. Okay, because they said they don't want their task to be lengthy. They make their life easy. They don't want to complicate things. So that's why they only choose one memorization, one definition of that formula. I said to myself, no, because the moment we have more formulas in our brain, if others will fail, we can still have. But if you only memorize only one formula, if that is losses to your brain, what will happen? So you don't have anything. Just go po. But this is excuse to the relationship, ha? You don't need to make too much jowa. You need only to have one jowa, one boyfriend, one girlfriend, one wife, one husband. This is only in mathematics and in subjects, ha? That we can say the more the better. Okay, but in a relationship, you will never say the more the better because it against in our doctrine as a Catholic Christian. We are not allowed to marry two wives. We're not allowed to marry two husbands. We are not allowed to have two girlfriends or two boyfriends. We need to be straightforward in just one relationship. Okay? So that's an exemption. But in math, the more the better. Okay? Or in science or English or something. See? So if we have more equations and formulas, the merrier. Not only one, and this is also one of the secret formulas I used prior to take the chemical engineer board examination. Okay, I'm not really sticking to one equation. If there are 4 equations, I need to memorize all. I need to understand all. Nothing left behind, right? I hope we can practice this sentence. Say, nothing left behind. Okay. So, cosine 2 theta, this is sine 2 theta. Okay, kita double angle. Sine 2 theta, cosine 2 theta. So this will become cosine squared theta minus sine squared theta. Another equation. 2 cosine squared theta minus 1. Another equation. 1 minus 2 sine squared theta. You memorize these 3 completely without choosing. That's only my recommendation and suggestion. If you don't want, then well, you have that's your choice. Okay, get the point. Okay, because the more we have more weapons, the more it's easy for us to kill our enemies in a war. Take note for that. Again, the more we have weaponries or weaponries technology as an objective to defeat our enemy, so it's an advantage rather than you have only one type of weaponry, which is traditional and obsolete. You cannot defeat your enemy, my gosh. Math is also like that. Science is also like that, or whatever subjects. So we need to have more ammunitions, right? Ammunitions, the English term for that, ammunition, or let us say, like a weapon, right? Tama ba ko? Weapon risk. And what we put in the gun, right? Gun, G-U-N, is called a bullet. At the same time, ammunition, right? Synonym. Ammunition and bullet are synonyms with each other, no? Right? Am I correct? Okay. I'm not into war. I'm not in military operations. Okay, but I am a cadet major, S5 major when I was in high school in citizenship army training. Okay, because before we are trained in a basic military operations at the time of Ferdinand E. Marcos. I think so. Until the time of Corazon Aquino, it was just eliminated. I think in the time of Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, right? I'm sure it was not eliminated in the time of Fidel V. Ramos because Fidel V. Ramos is more on military figure, military aura. Okay, get that point? So most probably it was in the time of Gloria Macapagal Arroyo and Noynoy III. Get the point? They eliminated the ROTC, the Reserve Officers Training. Okay, ROTC, Reserves Officer Training Corps, CORPS. Okay. And then the CAT, Citizenship Army Training, the CAT, okay? So things like that. But before in 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, like that, including our batch in the 1990s, we are trained to that, in CAT. And I was
a cadet major really. You get the point? I was not became a corps commander because of my voice. It's too thin and sharp. Okay, they are complaining as if I am singing. Right? Okay, when I say Tikas! Like that, and they are not convinced to the texture of my voice like that. So that's why they put me in S5 in the cadet major S1, cadet major S2, cadet major S3, cadet major S4, and each major ship of the cadet has its own roles and responsibilities like that, no? Okay. So my responsibilities is more on the the gardening, the environment, no? Have this sponsors lecture. It's more on like more on a spokesperson of this entire CAT. Get the point? No, as a spokesperson of the CAT. Okay, get the point? That's my position. And then the CAT3 will be also the like an intelligence, no? The example only. What I'm trying to emphasize here, each has its own rule and responsibility. Okay, and then the S4 will be on the finances, collection of money, budgeting, and then the S1 will be the assistant of the corps commander during the tactical, tactical formation, right? Okay, and he will command us to do some formation in front of thousands of cadets like that, no? Because we will be the center of attraction during the city of Naga. That is not city of Naga. That was not city of Naga before. That's only Naga. Okay. Province. Okay. And there will be tactical inspection. There will be also the feast, formation every fiesta. I think that's happened Desperas, one day before the fiesta. There will be like that in the Naga province, no? The two will represent the Sheno School of Naga and then the Naga National High School right? Or before that was NPPHS, Naga Provincial High School, the former name of Naga National High School. I'm just talking also the history, right? So that we know everything. Char. Okay, get the point. We will do well-rounded as well as the history. Okay? Things like that. Okay, and then I enjoyed a lot in my CAT. Things like that. Okay, because I had higher scores like that during the exams at the time. Okay, so that's it. Okay. Okay, because there's an examination, the training. You get the point? Okay, CAT training before. Okay. So any questions so far for this? Okay. And then we go to the tangent to theta. Okay. There's also a lot of memorization, right? During the so I will be just that's really my asset ever since. Get the point of memory retention. You get the point, things like that. Okay, so we have here tangent to theta. What is the definition or the formula of tangent to theta? So you're gonna separate the two to tangent theta, and you take the basic Pythagoras, 1 minus tangent squared theta. This is the formula of tangent to theta. So why I introduce the formulas of half angle and double angle? Because we need to solve this one by one. Get the point? Things like, but I don't need to show to you how it is being derived. Like this, no more time. Okay, we go directly. Okay, get the point? Okay, because other stuffs here, okay, stuffs STUFFS. It's not STA. Okay, other stuffs here, okay, can be done by derivation over the other, but I don't have to show it because it will consume our time. Okay, things like that. Okay. Okay, now the time is near, and so I face the final curtain. I did it my way. Okay, now we have here, so 5, 3. Okay, so half angle, magsugot ni sine theta. What's the formula? 2 sine theta cosine theta. Okay, so all you have to do is to determine the value of sine theta and cosine theta. So what is the cosine theta here? So that is cosine theta is equal to the adjacent. So what is the adjacent? 3. 3. What is the hypotenuse? 5. So you have 3/5. You will substitute that here. So 2, and we have 3/5 already here for cosine theta. How about the sine theta? There's a problem because we don't have the opposite side here. So that's the time we're gonna use that. What? Pythagoras, because this projects 90 degrees.
or we must abide the law of right triangle. Okay, Pythagoras. The Pythagoras theorem is really designed for a right triangle or any triangle that involves 90 degrees. That's the concept of Pythagoras theorem. The moment our triangle is not 90 degrees, you cannot use that. Even you will kill yourself. Okay? Things like that. Okay, now this is the height. So therefore, I will say sine theta is equals to the opposite, no? Because that is SOHCAHTOA, okay? Opposite. What is the opposite? I represent that with h. So h over hypotenuse, which is 5. Get the point? Then you have the angle Sotero. Okay, for that, take note. I have, of course, I have the angle which is 45 degrees. Because this is 90 degrees. Okay, okay, and this 90 degrees. But if you want to be sure, okay, use the c squared is equals to a squared plus b squared. You have also option, okay, c, because in this kind of analysis, okay, the other angles are not given. But if you want to test your intelligence deeper and profoundly, that's more challenging. That's why I tried at first. Then suddenly I shifted to easy. Is equals to the square root of a is 3, or diba? 3, like that. And then the b is nothing, right? Okay, then the c, what is the c? Okay, this is c squared. We already squared, no? Things like that. So this is 3 squared. Then raise both sides with 2, so that will become c squared is equals to 2. They cancel the radical sign. There's 3 to the 2, 9. Then the b, okay, the b, this is b2. Okay, diba? So you have the value of c. Yes, I have. 5 to the power 2, 25. Okay. And then a, 3 to the 2 is 9, right? And then b squared. So subtract with 25, subtract with 25. So this is 0 is equals to negative 16 plus b squared. So equate to 0, that will become, again, adds positive 16 and positive 16. It will become 0. So therefore, b squared is equals to positive 16 or 16. Raise both sides to 1/2. So that the exponent of the b will be cancelled. So it will become b, and then 16 raised to the power half, the same as the square root of 16. So therefore, b is equal to the positive and negative 16. But by default, we will just use here the positive 4. Okay, therefore, so we have 4 now here. Okay, get the point? So let's go back again to the original definition. So sine theta is equals to 4, because this is the opposite side. So 4 over the hypotenuse. So 4 over 5. So now we have sine theta, which is equal to 4 over 5. And multiply them. Okay? 2 times 4 times 3, 8 times 3, 24. 5 times 5, 25. Can we still reduce this to the lowest term? You cannot, right? So 25, the factor of 25 is not compatible to the factor of 24. So this is already the answer over sine 2 theta. Okay? Get the point? And guys, here is a take also in the board examination. Okay? Actually, this is called double angle trigonometric identity. There are 2 ways on how to give instructions in a questions or a problems. Okay? The first is they try to declare it in a comprehensive manner by using linguistic approach, like a language, no? Sentence, and paragraph. That's the first representation of a problem over a question. The second representation of a problem or a question, they would represent that in a symbol only, okay, in an equation, in a formula. So in this part, at least we know how to interpret. Not only this is also the opposite, right? Not only the language and linguistic approach of stating the concept or stating the stand and the question, okay? For example, it's written there, evaluate sine 2 theta. Don't tell me, you will not understand that this is double angle. You will wait for instruction. Now tell me. So this is not being smart, if that's the case. This is just very simple example. For example, number one, in a general engineering, let's say I will take the general engineering board examination this September 2026. Like I will take civil engineering, chemical engineering. And question number one, unang bungad pa lang. You got the point? Evaluate. Sine 2 theta. Diyos ko po. So you cannot answer. Interpret the symbol, the form, the appearance. This is called non-linguistic representation of a concept, because this is not done in words and sentence and paragraph. So see, 2. So this is a double angle. So use the double angle now. So the moment you will see the appearance, the form, no, it will try to prompt, or it will try to push your brain cells of what to do. You get the point? By just looking at it for the first time. You get the point? You should not wait also for the language to appear. Right? Okay. So, diba? Relatable. It's very relatable to the people who want to take examination. Okay? Especially in general engineering or mathematics. Not all will be explained through words. Okay. Not all instructions will be highlighted with language. Even symbol we can do. Okay? Things like that. So, we say like it. Evaluate sine 2 theta. What naman this? Double angle trigonometric identities. And then another also the reverse. Okay? Because you are usually encountering your math teacher's sample problem are always also expressed in symbols. This is the opposite. Okay. Now, in the examination, they also say and state also the linguistic approach. No, there's no symbol anymore. So don't tell me you cannot interpret. So what is the lesson here? We need to study both language and symbolic representation to further escalate our analysis. Okay, so that we can answer the question and the problem. Okay, I advise you not to focus on a symbolic way of understanding, even though that is math. Okay, I advise you for that. Okay, things like that, and that is the case also. Even though you are not good in math, okay, you can pull it off. Okay, you can still have good scores in general engineering or in mathematics. It doesn't need necessarily to be genius. It doesn't need necessarily to be smart in math. As long as you understand the basic routines, the basic skills, the basic concepts, the basic formula, and then you're gonna manipulate that like your own world to pander. And then bingo. Get the point? Okay, thanks. Okay. But you need to study comprehensively, no? Both analysis and comprehensive memorization. Okay, things like that. So I know engineering students will struggle in comprehensive memorization thing. Okay, but analysis, they develop it well. Mind you guys, there are questions not only analysis can do. Get the point? It's also the solidity of our memory retention. Okay, with regards to the formulas and equations, because not all the time we will derive. Not all the time we will analyze. Not all the time we need to think what to do. Okay, but if those formulas and equations already in our head, okay, then we can manipulate it directly. Get the point? Because other questions have only this kind of direct substitution. So it's easy for us to do that, having in mind various formulas and equations. Okay, that could save us also, no? Especially if you're not good in analysis. Okay, you get the point. But if you are good in both, better. Congratulations. You are both good in analysis and in a memory retention. Okay, get the point? Sa mga knowledge-based foundations, it's expected to have good memory retention. Okay, knowledge base. But for the analysis issue, you must at least be good in total comprehension. Okay? There's difference between the two kasi. Get the point? But I do believe also that sometimes questions, even though you don't think it critically, using deep analysis, you can just answer by just simply substituting the values in that equation. So bingo, right? Okay, but this is for the people who are not blessed with mathematical ability, just like me. Right? Okay, things like that. Okay. Okay. See, that is the answer of sine to theta. How about cosine to theta? So you need to do this. Cosine squared theta minus sine squared theta. Okay? Subtract this. This is the value of cosine to theta. Take note mga palangga, guys. If you reverse this one, sine squared theta minus cosine squared theta, that is not correct. Okay? Because why? In math, what theory signals us to that? What theory prohibits us to do that? Because in subtraction and addition, there's no commutative property. Okay? The commutative property is only exclusive for multiplication. Special multiplication. For example, if you have 2xy, you can also say xy2, x2y. So the positioning doesn't matter. So that's why this cannot be reversed because of zero commutative property of addition and subtraction. Get the point? If I will ask you that one, that question, maybe some cannot answer, right? What is the reason? Very simple question, no? Just like reasoning, logical reasoning. What is the reason, class? Why you cannot reverse sine squared theta subtracted to cosine squared theta? This is measuring your critical thinking, right? And this way of asking is not taught. Okay? This can be done only in our own autonomy during our discovery learning when we are alone, when we are assessing our learning growth, how far we learned in lesson to lesson. So this is called diagnostic and assessment, approach of learning. So you're gonna extract, okay, you're gonna diagnose your strengths and weaknesses. So that can be done with self-assessment. Okay, get the point? You assess yourself so that you will know what is your strength, what is your weakness, okay? You don't need others to do that. You by yourself, because if you let others to do that, sometimes there is also what we call prejudice in English. You know what is prejudice? Meaning, you become sometimes partial in your decision, or you become having human nature or bias. You get the point, no? Because that is your son, you will always say, good, you're still correct, because you avoid negative remarks to your son in order for him to be encouraged as a father, as a parent, like that, right? But in reality, your children commits wrong, but you're just using these positive words to uplift their spirits to work well in terms with their lessons, right? So that's why we need to assess our own. Self-assessment is the best because through that you can learn with your own pace, meaning with your own distance of period or time. No, you get the point, no? Okay, you can manipulate your own autonomy, of studying well. You have great control with regards to your time, okay, with regards to your resources, with regards to your surrounding environment, with regards to your learning style. Okay? So that's why the best good sheet is self-assessment. Okay? Things like that. Okay? That's for me. I don't know with others also. Okay, get the point. Because others will study if others also will study, right? It's just like it's more on collaborative way. If the others will not do, they will not also do. So this is not good. This is independent. This is dependency. No, you get the point. Okay. Having our own knowledge and intelligence. This is super personal for us. No, highly personalized. No, we don't need to be dependent by others. Get the point? Because by the time they will be lost in your life, you will not learn. Okay. So if nobody will guide you because you are always exposed or to something that somebody will guide you every time, so you will never study, right? You get the point. Okay, things like that. So once in a while, remove this in your life. Okay, if you know already the basic concepts and everything. At first, of course, they are there to guide you, to facilitate the learning, okay? But once you are building this confidence to learn more, so try to remove them once in a while to measure really if you are learning or not. Get the point? Okay, things like that. Okay. Now, cosine squared theta. This means that cosine theta, we need to square twice. And we have the value of cosine theta, which is 3 over 5. So 3 over 5 raised to the power 2 minus sine theta is 4 over 5, right? So 4 over 5 raised to the power 2. Oh, you're going to have a negative answer here, I think, no? So 3 over 2, 9 over 25, and then 16 over 25. Oh my gosh, yes. The same denominator, we can subtract directly in the law of fraction. No? So 16 minus 9 is 7. Negative 7 over 25 is the cosine 2 theta. This cosine 2 theta, guys, is simply saying cosine 2 in the angle of this consideration. But in this case, we don't specify the angle. Okay, so we need to compute the angle. We already have the values, check. Okay? Okay, get the point? Pero ito ba? Sine 2 theta, cosine. The theta there are expected to have values. See, if you have cosecant theta, so we can get the theta. So we will use now the inverse trig function. Inverse trig function. Arc sine, arc cosine, arc tangent. You get the point? Or arc cotangent or whatsoever, whatever. Okay? So things like that. We solved already the sine to theta, cosine to theta. This is cosine to theta actually. Get the point? Oh. And then we have the tangent to theta. Okay, again, what is the formula of tangent to theta? Mga palagingging. Okay. Tangent to theta, mga palagingging, is equals to 2 tangent theta. What is the value of tangent theta here? Sine theta over cosine theta. So this is sine 4 over 5 over 3 over 5. The same denominator, cancel, biga. 4 over 3. So this is 4 over 3 because 2 tangent theta over 1 minus tangent squared theta. So we need to say you need to square this again. The 4 over 3. Tangent theta raised to the power 2. So 4 over 3 raised to the power 2. This is 16 over 9. So 16 over 9. Okay, now perform the mathematical operation. 2 times 4, 8 over 3 over 1 minus 16 over 9. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay. There are 3 ways how to solve this. Okay, as I told you over and over again. Okay, in the numerator, 8 over 3 is easy to manipulate because that is only solo flight fraction. There's no such minus, plus. Okay, in the denominator, there are 2 terms, no? 1 minus 16 over 9. And as you can see, 16 and 9 are not factorable with each other to a certain number. Okay, also, that's also an issue. So, you're gonna use the greatest common factor or the butterfly method, okay, or the multiply to something so that you can cancel. Let's try first, no? We need to be experimentative. Oh, I love the term. I created only now. Experimentative, right? Let's be full of experimentation. Okay, let's experiment, by the way, okay? Things that, okay. So what number you will multiply to reduce this into lowest term? The denominator that comprises of first term and second term, no? With the mathematical operation of subtraction. So we're gonna multiply this whole thing with 9. Now, as I told you in mathematics, what you do in the numerator, you do in the denominator. You did in the denominator, you did in the numerator. So you also multiply 9 in the top portion, of course. Right? Tama ba? Okay. Oh, yes. Tama siya. Okay, now. Okay. 9 times 1. This is distributive, no? See? Because this is multiplication. This is distributive property of multiplication. So we need to distribute each or we FOIL that, no? That's it. That's the process in multiplication. So 9 times 1. Okay. Ano tama sugod sa denominator? Okay. 9 times 1, 9. 9 times 16, pila mga palangga by manual.
Okay, 15 for biga-biga, 9 plus 5, 14, di ba? Tama ba? Yes. Okay, 144. 16, okay, 144. Okay, okay, okay. Then, 9 over 9, that is 1, is cancel. So, no more denominator in the denominator. Wow. See? No more denominator in the denominator. Okay, kita po yun? Oo. So, negative 144 plus 9 mga palagingging. Ay, nakakalo. So, 30. That is negative 30. Carry on, carry over chart. Okay, negative 135 ang atong denominator. Numerator. 9 times 8, 72. Okay? Oh. Take a look mga palangga. 72. Siya ka na siya. Okay, kita po ano siya, no? Okay? Tanawa ha? 8 over 3 times 9. So 9 times 8, 72. Okay. You don't have to multiply the 9 with the 3 ha? Because this 9 is understood to have over 1. 1 times 3 is 3. 72 over 3. Here kasi it's another story. See, when you multiply to 9, this is only number, so 9 only. Minus 9 times 16, there's a number, right? You get the point na, And then you need to cancel the 9 also, because this is the same. You get the point, You get the point? You get the point? Okay, things like that, Ganon. Okay? Okay. So if you want to cancel this, cancel directly. If you want to fulfill the traditional way, you can have also. This is traditional kasi. So if you want the direct chuvas, then you can do also, no? Cancel. So this is 9 minus 16. Okay, that is negative 7. Okay, negative 7 siya. Kani siya, 72 over 3 na siya, no? You get the point? So, law of exponent, no? 72 over 3 times, this is understood to be negative 7 over 1. So, inverse into 1 times negative 7. Now, this is the property of division. Inverse property of division in a fraction. You need to invert the denominator when you try to divide it and use multiplication. Okay? 72 over 3 times. Invert this negative 7. 1 over negative 7. So, therefore, 72 over negative 21. Oh, can we divide 72 by 3? I doubt I can, right? Okay. Oh, nakakaloka, di ba? 1, 3, 12, biga, 14. Okay, si 14. Yeah, 3, 7. Okay, negative 14, 7. Ang atong tangent to theta. Okay? Any questions so far? So, manata sa double angle. So, half angle. Okay, kita po ito. Half angle chuvas. Okay? Half angle. So, sine theta over 2. Okay, things like that. That's why also, guys, in the board examination, there's no so much like this because this is highly formatted. No? You need only to follow the same procedure, the same steps, the same methodologies. If you cook food, the recipe, the steps are always coming back the same thing. So that's why even if you close your eyes, you can still perform, or just like working in a laboratory for 20 years, for 15 years. So you can estimate what already the result will be. So as if, this is not really true, this is only figurative speech. As if you will close your eyes, then you can do the job. Because that is routine, repetitive in billions of hours and seconds in your entire life. You get the point? This is routine. So the more it will become routinary, the more it will become not challenging. Even if you will accept or not. So in here, sorry to say this, this is for everybody. This is not only for me. So this is not upgrading our brain because we keep on repeating the same thing. There's no new. Okay? How can you learn more if there's no new things in your word? It's always keep on repeating. So this is a really general statement. No, I'm not saying that I need to avoid this because it's routine. I'm just telling the truth, whether we like it or not. Okay? If the job is keep repeating over and over again with the same framework, you say, after 30 minutes, I have to do this. After 60 minutes, I have to do this. So this is not like, it's not totally engaging because you are always repeating the same thing. Boring, what I mean. Get the point? But if your task is keep on changing every minute,
and you have full autonomy to vary that, no? So it's very challenging and it's very fun. This is what I love in safety, to be honest with you. Because I can think, no, it's not really configured in after 1 hour you have to do this. After 30 minutes you have to do this. Even though you will not, if you do that last, it would be okay. You get the point? So mean to say, you are not pushed by the time, but rather you are really flexible, no, to use your time well. Okay. So this is the most important thing I love in HSE. You get the point? Sorry to say it. I have to be honest. You get the point, though. I can do everything what I want as long as I maintain my scope and responsibilities with the best of the ability and knowledge. If you don't listen, well, it's okay. If you listen, fine. Okay? Things like that. No. So there's no complication, right? But once you failed in your test and analysis of that particular sample, the entire will be, failed. So see the difference? You get the point? You get the point? So that's why I shifted to occupational safety and health, because I can use my time very well and I can use my multiple talents in me. No? It's not only constructed or configured to one talent or one ability. It's not routine kasi you get the point? And I can use also my other talents, especially in verbal intelligence, linguistic intelligence. Okay, in writing, conceptualizing, like that, no? Documentation, like using the power to talk, the power to educate, to empower the knowledge, right? Things like that. So that's I love the most, no? Rather than I'm staying laboratories for the rest of my life. And this is me, right? So this is for us what we like in our life. Okay? But I'm just telling the reality. Okay? Things like that. Any questions so far? Okay, in education or in academy, in teaching in a university or whatever, that is more challenging because you face diversity, the inclusivity of different types of learning styles you will encounter, including the character, attitude, behavior, learning environment, and every day is a challenge that you need to teach very well every second, every minute, every hour, every day, because the success of your students' future will be dependent to you. The moment you will fail it, they will also fail. Okay? So your job as an educator is critical for their growth, no? Things for their learning growth in the future. Imagine you teach them to become critical thinkers and problem solvers in the future, right? That's very critical. That's big factor in their lives. How they gonna succeed financially? Okay? Things like that. Alam na this. You get the point? So it's not an easy task. Okay, get the point. This, I'm not very selective, but this is based on my study, no? So this medical profession, okay, teachers and professors and educators, and also the world of HSE. Their rules are very critical. Get the point? For example, this is being straightforward. I don't need to be biased here. I'm just telling the truth. For example, medical profession. You treat your patients well. If you give the wrong medicine, they will die. If you will never care them and nurture them well as a nurse, as a professional nurse, then they will be also having too much diseases and they will die also, whatever, you know what I mean, right? If the doctor cannot do how to diagnose, how to operate surgically like that, of course, the life will be dependent to you also as a doctor. Okay, and then teachers. If the teachers will not discuss well in the class, what will happen to this future generation? They will never succeed. They will not become future leaders. So the rules as a teachers and educators are very useful, very important in the planet Earth. Number 3, the occupational safety and health. Okay, if there's no safety, minute to minute, second, imagine what will be happening to the world. The world will be in chaos. The world will explode with hazardous chemicals because we don't use it accordingly and safely, and the tank will explode because the flash points is so extreme that the tank cannot hold the flash points, the flammability of this of liquids like that. So everybody also will die, right? Okay, if we will not take care of our safety. Okay, so for me, these three professions is very critical. Okay? OSH, Occupational Safety and Health, being a teacher, being a professor, being an educator, and being in the medical profession. Okay? I'm not saying I'm selective, but I'm just being critical here according to the fact. Okay? Because other profession are no objective to save the life. Now tell me. If you're in the quality department, you are protecting the life of the people. You're just maintaining the quality of the product. That's it. Right? Okay, but apart from that, we are also studying technical terms, too much lessons like that, no? Apart from saving the lives of the people or protecting the lives of the workers, protecting the business reputation in terms of accident-free environment, things like that, okay? The same also with the hospitals, okay? They are saving the lives of the people, millions of patients there. If they will not take care of these people, they are giving money to these professional doctors and nurses also. Same also in the schools and universities. Okay, the parents are paying tuition fees so that their children will learn, so that they can use that in the future to become a successful leader, financial success in their lives also, when they are now having their own families, right? So for me, so it's the medical profession, okay, being a teacher and in safety, okay, very critical tasks, okay, both in the morale of the people and in a business reputation. You get the point? Okay. And I do believe you mean what you understand what I mean. Okay, get the point? That's why I really encourage my nephew to take a course that is really critical in nature. What do you mean critical in nature? How important that by in the global scale. You get the point? Because I found it by myself that if you're in the safety department, other countries has its own local regulations. No, that's why you cannot easily go to Canada. You can easily go to New Zealand to apply as a safety engineer because they have their own set rules or legislations or certifications that you need to comply. You get the point? So they will prioritize first their locals, their own people. So that's why we cannot really navigate directly to US like that, no? They prioritize their people. This is only the disadvantage of safety specifically, but in terms of general objective, okay, general purpose, it's quite critical and useful. I'm only talking for the privilege and opportunity, to immerse in another countries, for example, UK, New Zealand, Canada. So more or less, they will navigate in the Middle East because in the Middle East, there's no strong legislations. Okay, so that's why these safety officers, I'm not saying everybody, generally are designed in the Middle East and Gulf countries because the OSH is not really that strong enough compared to the UK and the US and the European countries. So that's why they hired a lot of safety professionals to take care of the safety of the business and the safety of the people. Okay, things like that. Okay, if you want that, try to apply to become a safety engineer in Canada. And after you apply, tell me, okay, how strict and meticulous their process really. Okay, you get the point? So I said to my nieces and my nephews, take a course that is really having the immersion, great power of immersion, meaning have reciprocity laws. No, do you know what is reciprocity laws? Okay. You can easily work also with other countries, not only in Middle East and Gulf countries, because safety professionals cannot easily go to European countries based on my experience, whether we like it or not. Okay? This is a factual statement. Okay? If there are other nationalities went to Canada, to New Zealand, that's their destiny that the Lord gave to them. But I am telling how stringent the possibilities. It's not easy compared to the Middle East. That's why Middle East is very dominant in accepting OSH professionals because of that reason. Okay? Things like that. And I realized, really, and this is also the reason why my decision at first is okay, but I changed to chemical engineer field, to safety field, because at first when I graduated in my college, no, I passed the chemical engineer's licensure examination. My first move is to teach. I applied chemistry and math in CIT. That's my first move above all things. I'm not yet immersed in different industries at that time, but my father wanted me to work as a chemical engineer. My father or my mother and my father want me to work in my field because they said, you're an engineer, why you work as a teacher? Because at that time, we don't understand yet the relevance of education. Okay? And a teacher. I found that, oh my gosh, how useful pala. You got the point? Oh, things like that. Because if I really push that field, maybe I am now teaching in US, I'm now teaching in Canada, I'm now teaching in like through that span of time, 26 years. It's impossible knowing myself. Okay? It's impossible for me. I cannot be a teacher in those countries. You get the point? Things like that. But I am not in that in that league. No, I'm in the chemical engineers league, in the safety league. No, you get the point. So that's why it's a little bit late for me to transverse back to my second love actually. For my second love, which is teaching. And my first love really is singing. Okay, get the point. Second love teaching. Yes, okay, get the point. Okay, scientific tower two, things like that. Because they always discourage also before that if you go into teaching, your salary is very small. Things like that, no? And then this discriminated also the teacher's capability. So I am very young at that moment, and then due to the peer pressure in the environment, they always say that teachers are too much like this. No, negative. I always heard negative about that, but I really insist to myself, no, it's not. Even though they said negative. You get the point? Because my decision to work in an industry is my parents' decision actually. It's not coming from me. Since I respected my parents very well. I'm a faithful son, no? I'm obedient. That's why you get the point. So I don't want them to fail, no? Regarding my future, like things like that, no? Even to the extent of giving up my first love, right? Or my second love, or my passion in teaching. So I'm very loyal to them, very faithful to them. Okay. Hello, Papa. You are now in heaven. So this is this session really. So tell you what, the industry, actually, it's a big respect because you have the same name. My father also is Sotero. I'm also Sotero. Okay, so I'm the junior. He is the senior. So in that aspect, how can I complain with my father? My father knows best. My mother knows best in the future, right? Get up. So there's no regret at all. But I'm saying, if I continue that journey, so maybe I'm not now in the Middle East for sure. If I have the passion in teaching, for sure. You get the point? Then I can reflect back now with my nieces. No? My two nieces is teaching now in America. Right? So if I'm a teacher pala, maybe I can be here also. You get the point? Okay, because it's not easy pala for the safety professional to migrate there because of their local certifications, regulations, like that. No, they prioritize their people there also. So I'm not saying I'm regretting. So I am also blessed, right? But I'm just relating the story. You get the point? Things like that. But for me, if I were you, that's what I keep on telling you, right? Okay, things like that. Go to the courses that's really the job market offers a lot of opportunities rather than slim opportunities. No, even the salary is big regarding to be big. Okay, because there are courses the salaries are known to be big, but we are not sure if we will be hired. Okay, get the point? But if you look for the projection of the coverage of how wide the vacancy really is, so you have possibilities to land for that, no? So go to that kind of courses that is demand. You get the point, according to what you like, so that you will not, you will not blame anybody. In my case, I don't blame anybody. I love, as I told you, I love safety. Okay, the point, no? Things like that. It just happened that the reality is that. You get the point? Kung di pa na ako love safety, why convert it to safety? Common sense, right? You get the point? Diba? Things like that on. Ganun na siya. Okay? Things like that. So, So sa generic word there sa Philippines, do not underestimate the relevance of a teacher. Okay? So they have the mission, vocation, and the profession. Things like that. You get the point? Things like that. Okay, thank you, engineer, Dr. Tim. Dr. Tim is my classmate in chemical engineering. Okay, so he completed his PhD units in UK. He kept on advising me to take the board examination in teacher if I want to become a teacher in UK, America, like that, because it's minimum requirement to show that you are really a teacher. Okay? Even though you will teach college like that or high school or whatever. Okay? He's my advisor. Okay, things like that. I'm the top one of our class, no? Okay, now we have here the side of 1/2 theta. So how can we do this? Now again, we completely memorized the formula of sine theta over 2, right? Okay, what's that all about? Again, positive and minus the square root of 1 minus cosine theta over 2. And we have no cosine theta, right? So this kind of activity or event chart, it's more on direct substitution, right? As long as you understand. Okay? So 1 minus 3/5 over 2. Mathematical manipulation. Diba? So positive and negative, the square root of 1 minus 3/5. Butterfly method is easy. 5, 3, 5, 2. So 2 over 5 over 2. Can 2 over 5 over 2? 2/5 divided by 2. This is again the law of exponent, no division. Inverse property of division. So we need to say 2 over 5 times 2, 1 over 2. Invert the 2 over 1, 1/2. So therefore, this is 2 over 10 or 1 over 5 reduced to the lowest term. 2 divided by 2, 1, 10, okay, 1/5, no? So therefore, this is the square root, the positive and negative, the square root of 1/5, no? Okay, get the point now. Things like we don't need to deal here with complex number, huh? Okay, you get the point. So we will end our answer to be like this, but it depends on the questions and problems you're facing in the future in an exam. Because if they have a decimal point answer, meaning to say this square root the 1/5, then there is a result in a calculator. But if they will end it up to be this way, this means positive square root of 1 over 5. Negative square root of 1 over 5. There are two answers, the sign convention, the positive and the negative. Okay? Get the point? Things like that. But for tangent, there's no sign anymore, huh? Okay, get the point. Tangent theta over 2. Get the point? Diba? Things like that. So things like that, no, we don't need to continue because the same story, it's so highly traditional manner. Get the point? Direct substitution. Okay? Our favorite chart. Okay, get the point? Things like that. I'm just joking. Get the point? Okay, things like that. Really, it's also nice, right? Okay. Because without this direct substitution, we cannot save scores also, right? It's impossible. Always analyzing everything. This is not good. There's always have like this kind of problems, no? To gain points and scores. No? It's impossible or all are difficult. Chart. Number 3. Okay. Things like that. This one. 40 degrees. This is X, this is Y, and this is 105 degrees. Find the angles X and Y. What theory is this? So in trigonometry, we have this called angle theorem. And you need to memorize, there are at least 21 angle theorems, one by one. Okay? No. So that we really have a good score in general engineering, in the engineering board examinations. Okay? PRC. Memorize all the angle theory. Okay? Things like, okay. So what angle theory this belongs? Okay, this belong to, okay, what? Exterior angle theorem. So what's that all about, Sir Sotero? So this involves the linear pair
theorem, okay, and the remote angles theorem. What are remote angles theorem, Sotero? Okay. These are the two angles opposite to the angle aligned to the horizontal, the base. So if this one, see, 40 degrees and x degrees are called remote angles. So another, they are next to it. No vacant, no vacant position, not alternate. It's a 40 degrees, this is also x degrees like that. So they are next to it. Okay? Okay, but because the moment it's not next to it, okay, it's not a remote if you put that here. Okay, it's only here and across to the angle of inclination stated. So this angle y, right? So what is across in angle y is the 40 degrees and x degrees. The moment it's not like this, okay, mabali na po, as long as it's across the angle. Ang two sides across the angle. Okay, kita po ito? Oo. Okay? So muna siya yung remote angles. Okay, kita po. So in here, how can we solve this? No? So first, we're gonna attack with the linear pair theorem, which is abiding the supplementary angle theorem 2. Meaning to say the linear pair theorem is equal to the supplementary theorem 2. So therefore, y degree plus 105 degrees. Guys, actually, guys, if we need to be strict, if we let x and y, get the point, and we mean angle, when we try to solve, guys, we need to put angle, because most of the teachers also will not put angle. This is a correction, a minor correction, because they only interpreted that the same, that what matters in the last. But again, this is not the correct way of teaching. Get the point? If you're using variable here, okay, this is letter, right? If you put degrees in the letter y, what's the difference? This one is a degree, is an angle. This one is a simple letter in alphabet. You get the point? This is teaching you to be keen eye of detail. Your eye must be keen with the difference, what you saw in the questions. Your eye is very sharp to detect the difference and the similarity. It matters a lot. See, there's a degree at the top, and here it's not. So meaning this is only a letter, this one is a degree. So the other one in the right is an angle. By just looking in it. So that's why as a math teacher, you will say y degree plus 105 degree is equals to 180 degree. So you will never say y plus 105 is equals to 180 degrees. So they are not in the same manner. You say y plus 105 is equals to 180 degrees. So what's that? You cannot add and subtract if that is not in similar term. See, this is degree, this is number, this is letter. They are not in the same manner. How can you add? Because you are making fast of the result. That it means understood, no? Then after that, you get the y. Yes, it will be okay, but this is merely mechanism, methodology, the step. But you are not teaching the proper and the real way with regards to the concept. You get the point? So sometimes it hurts, because most of the teachers are also like that. Okay, but we need to break the challenge, that we need to really understand what the teachers are doing. Get the point? Okay. So we also as teachers, we need to feed the right and the most perfect information. Because in math and science, there's no understood. You must be technically correct. You get everything you teach there. That's what I understood, no? If you say highly empirical in nature, if you follow the philosophy of empiricism, so meaning to say you are highly scientific, so what comes really there are entirely the same. You get the point? If you say the pH of alcohol or sodium hydroxide, for example, is 8, it's really 8. There's no such 7.5, 7.6. And later on, I will try to round it off this to 8. That's idiot. You get the point? Wow. Okay, if the pH is really 8, it's not 7.6, it's not 7.7. Get the point? Okay? So, naklaro akong emphasis, no? If you add degree, all will be degree. And I know that also sometimes the issue is too much tired, too much time consuming. Okay, I know that story also before I try to discuss this. Okay, okay, but we are a teacher. We are facilitating the learning process, so we must be technically correct. You get the point? Wow. There's no perfection, but at least we need to feed the right and the most appropriate and accurate information. Okay, get the point also. We have y degree plus 105 degree is equal to 180 degrees. So we can add now because they are all in degrees, right? So we will compute for the y degrees. Y degrees is equals to 180 degrees minus 105 degrees. Okay? Y degrees, katawa ko sa ibang math. 180 minus 110. Numbers only they are subtracting, but a number is not an angle. Okay? Get the point? So that is understood, understood thing. In the world of total comprehension and learning and teaching us to be intelligent and smart, we are not taught by understood. For example, if I have laser, my son, I will go to the hospital because there is a laser. I do the operation of a laser. Okay, your son will be wondering what's the meaning of a laser. Your daughter will be wondering what is the laser. Of course, you need to teach them the definition of laser as a father and a mother. But the problem is, technically, you cannot also teach because you don't even know also. How can you teach if you yourself don't know the meaning? I think this is the most probable reason why they don't teach. Right? Okay, so this is light amplification stimulated emission by radiation. So you will teach your children. Though they cannot memorize it perfectly, but due to repetitive saying that words, when they grow up, they know already what's the meaning of laser. So even though they did not go to school yet, they have already an idea what's the meaning of a laser. So your impact as a first teacher is really working, okay? Because parents are first teachers to your children. That's our first responsibility as an educator to our children. You get the point? We don't entrust 1000% to the schools. We have this inherent responsibility. You get the point? Okay. So we must teach them another meaning also. Now I will go to the clinic. I need to take my BP. Take note, the meaning of BP can either be boiling point and blood pressure. Okay, so to be precise, you will say, I need to measure my blood pressure, my son, I will go there. So mention each terminology perfectly so that your son and daughter can understand what the meaning of BP, that you mean to be blood pressure, not the boiling point. You get the point? So this is being technically accurate, to guide and to facilitate the learning in a small venue before navigating to the large venue, which is the school, university, campus, and everything. You help also your children. And at the same time, you are fulfilling the requirement that you are the first teacher of your son and daughter and your children, because that is your main responsibility, your inherent responsibility, as parents, first teachers. Okay, if we are first teachers, then we're gonna inculcate discipline to our children, so that when they grow up, they will become upright. They know how to value respect, dignity, okay? And they know how to value everything in their lives, and everything is so precious, okay? They don't waste anything when they grow up. Because from small to big, all with values. You get the point? Things like that. And that is also a responsibility. I'm not yet a parent, but it's very obvious that it could be that in that way. That's our responsibility. Okay, to inculcate or to implant real discipline to our children when they grow up. Okay, you get the point? Okay, teaching them to be polished, to be refined in school, and everything. Okay, any questions so far? That's only an example. Okay, so 180 degrees minus 105. Okay, things like that. And this is gonna be 75 degrees. 75 degrees ang atong y degree. So we have now that the value of y degree and x degree. Y degree is 75 degrees. Diba? 75 degrees, and there's only one missing angle x degree. So by the theorem of triangle interior angles, so 40 plus x degree plus 75 is equals to 180. So subtract 180 minus 40 0, 0. Okay, 4, 144. 40 minus, okay, 75, blah, 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 so on. So 5, so 3. 13 minus 7 is going to be 6, okay, barrel. So 65 degrees sharp. Okay, see x degree. Add x degree, y degree, and 40. Be sure that that is amounting or to 180 degrees. Okay, or you can go also another one. 105 degrees is equals to 40 plus x. This is not the remote angle consideration. There's another alternative, no? So for the value of x. Okay, and you have now the x. No? So here 5 minus 40, 5, 65. So you have the same answer. Either you use the remote angle theorem and the interior angle theorem of a triangle, you will yield the same answer, 65 degrees. So which is which in your understanding of that particular polygon, which is called a triangle? Any question so far? Okay, yes. Okay, muna siya tong answer. Okay, x degree is 65 degree, y degree is 75 degrees. Okay, get that point? Shut up. Okay, get that point? Things like that. Okay, we finished already. Oh my gosh. Get the point? Things like that. So exhausting, right? Nakaloka. Okay, get the point? What is that? Palpitating. So palpitating. Okay. Means it's so tiring, it's so exhausting. You lose your power every time you talk. Either you discuss as if you are giving all your energy during your discussion, right? Things like that, no? It's palpitating. Oh. Okay. So we have also palpitation in medical term, no? Palpitation. Palpitate. Wow. Okay, any question so far, mga palangga? Okay. Thank you so much for watching. What is he saying? Oh my gosh! English is not your universal language. Sorry. Okay, my viewers are from Kazakhstan or from China or whatever. Okay, or from the Bangladesh or whatever. But Bangladesh can understand also English, right? Okay, things like that. But he said to me, so ha 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 ha. What is he saying? So it could be probably you are on a country that exclusive for your own language, right? For example, like in Uruguay, in Paraguay, in Croatia, because they are mandated to speak their own dialect, they are not using the universal language. If that is the type of comment you have now, sorry to say, I'm just telling the truth, okay? Because I'm speaking already in universal language, and you're still asking me what I am saying. Get the point? Things like that. Or maybe you did not understand the content, but you understand the terminologies and words, right? It's acceptable if you mean to be like this, okay? I'm teaching math, trigonometry, okay? So someone explain what he's saying. See, someone explain what he's saying. It's gonna be the content, right? The content you are referring. My content is trigonometry, mathematics, no? Okay? And the study of mathematics, science, reading, writing, speaking are the basic literacy. Okay, get the point? In a global village, no, in the global scale. Okay, so that is called basic literacies. Again, mathematics, science, the ability to read, write, okay, speak. Okay, so these are only the requirements in order for us to work. As long as we know these basic requirements, then doesn't need degree to work. But since the world is so competitive, that's why we need to go to school, getting these degrees like that. But I'm talking only with the basic literacies that you can work. So these are only the requirement, the ability to interpret, understand, and analyze the instructions, the ability to read, the ability to speak. Meaning if you have the ability to speak, you can convey the message clearly. You get the point? Things that you have the ability of solving basic mathematics, then you can compute your salary. Okay, you can subtract, you can add, you can multiply. So these are all we need in math, supposedly, right? The basic mathematical operations.
Okay? In science, that you know already what you are doing when you try to cook. You are heating substances that when you overcook, you cannot eat anymore. So this is highly scientific because if you overheat that, the temperature will go high. And then your product, your food, your menu will be lost the taste. So this is being scientific. At least you know to understand the basic chemistry of what you are doing. Okay, you know when to stop when it boils. Of course, if you don't know, then all the water will be released and you don't have water anymore in your coffee. So that's why science is a basic, subject. Sorry, basic literacy is not computer, actually. This is only advantage or to cope up to the real world that we need to be highly technologically equipped, okay, to navigate the real world of a digital world so that all of us will not be left behind. Okay, that's the purpose. But if we speak only basic literacy without gadget, without phone and everything, we can survive. This is what we mean by basic literacy. Get the point? Okay. Another example, if you want to go to the wilderness in the forest and there's no match, there's no lighters, there's no ignition source, there's no gasoline or whatever ignition sources to cook food, okay, then you must understand the purpose of a fraction so that it can create a fire. You're going to rub the stones very rigidly and all of a sudden the fire will occur and you can create your food there. So you know science well. So that's why this is the basic literacies. You get the point? Any questions so far? And this is called the essentialism philosophy. Okay? We need to learn the essentials for humanity survival. Okay? Survival of the fittest. Actually, it's not through wealth, it's not through technology, it's not through gadget, it's not through your profession, it's not of who really you are a director or manager, but it's only for how we really survive in a basic manner. Get that point? Any questions so far? Too much explanation, right? Okay, did you understand now what I'm saying? Because you're asking what I am saying, right? Thank you, but deep inside my heart, thank you for asking for that also. It would be nice to talk to you guys, really. I'm not in angry mood. This is just only my natural, okay? Get the point? But I'm enjoying answering your questions also, okay? Get the point? I love to respond it, okay? See? Ha, 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 ha. What are you saying? Oh my gosh. Get the point? Okay? So I'm discussing mathematics. Okay? Oh my gosh! Too much explanation. Right? Okay, get the point. So I could not just imagine when I'm already a teacher, no? So siguro all my students will really listen to they cannot talk anymore because like that. Okay, and they will be entertained, no? Things like that. But to be honest, I will adjust also to the learning environment. And this is just only like this because I don't have a limited time. Time is not limited. This is only virtual platform of teaching. Okay, this is not really the formal way of teaching. Get the point? So that's why if you're a formal teacher in university and college, you need to keep track with your time. That's why. Okay, so it could be adjusted somewhere along the way. This is just like a vlog, educational vlog. Okay, you get the point? So of course, my attitude and character in the future will change. Okay? Because the nature of my discussion here is informal, no? There's no time limit like that. No, I can talk whatever. But in real world, you don't have to do that because your time will be eaten in talking a lot of your subject. I know that very well. Okay? Things like that. But this is just only an educational vlog, no? Okay, we need to say this is not a formal educational center. I'm not paid to teach. Okay? Because my profession is another discipline. You get the point? Things like that. You get the point? I'm just doing this because I love to do it. I love to do this. You get the point? Any questions so far? And also part of my review in mathematics because I'm a mathematics major. You get the point? Okay, things like that. Any questions so far?
Okay, because no choice, no, all engineers have a major in mathematics. I love chemistry, I love biology, I love earth science, I love environmental science, I love geology, all about science is my love. Get the point? But since I am an engineer, PRC pushed me to be majoring in math. There's no excuse. Okay? Things like that. Yun lang. Get the point? No, oo. Okay? For example, you are BS, let's say, petroleum engineering. And if you want to teach, you major also in math. Okay? Okay, this is the way. No, even though you will explain very well to the PRC like that, sir, even if because you're an engineering graduate, you are an engineer, so you are not allowed to take any subjects except for the math major. Char. Dapat oo. Things la, di ba? Okay, things like that. But if I am a BS chemistry graduate, of course, my major will be science. Okay? So sad because I love science a lot. Okay, get the point. Okay. Uh, anyhow, I can still use my science concepts in general education. Okay? Okay. There. Okay. Because that is general, no? It's a general subjects to everybody. Okay, get the point for everybody. To the unit earners and to the education graduates. Get the point for. Diba? Things like that. Okay, any questions so far? Char. Okay, kita po. Akong viewers, pag media I think the nationality of this guy is very, difficult. Because I cannot read his account. See? PG, pagbadik kakuam, na XH. Ang hirap, no? Okay, murag Kazakhstan, whatever, Russian. Get the point. Maybe he cannot understand because Russian is not using English in their country. Right? When they speak in day-to-day life, they use Russian language. Especially in Germany, like that, no? Get the point. I mean the locals, not the foreigners. Okay? Of course, the foreigners will not talk the German native language. I mean the people really born there, get the point? They will they preferred always to talk in their own language, right? In German, in Russian, like that, no? Okay, they are not really mandated to speak in universal language English. Only the foreigners, no, and other nationalities. If we will migrate to another countries, my gosh, okay, no need to explain, my gosh, okay. Any questions so far? Thank you so much for watching, my viewers today. Even though I don't know what countries you are, right? Thank you so much for supporting because my revenues reaches to 1.3 million pesos.